properly sanitize and wipe data from your devices and system. Right? Most of us think that by deleting a file, it's completely gone. That's false. Right? There's a proper way to sanitize your system. Sanitizing means properly destroying data. That's what we're going to get right into. So first things first, let's go ahead and log into our Kali Linux machine. You know the username, you know the password. Right? Once we're logged in, we're going to open up the terminal and we are going to format a portable drive. Right? We're going to format a drive using the fdisk utility. So if you're not, don't worry, we'll break it all down once we get to a certain point. But first things first, let's go ahead and enter fdisk-l. Right, this is going to display the current storage devices we have on this system. Right, we have three. We have SDA1, SDA2, SDA3. Right, well, we have two. We have SDB and an SDA. Right, these are two storage devices we have on the system, SDA and SDB, two storage devices we can use to store data. Right now you can see SDA is split up, that storage device is split up into three different partitions. Alright, cool. It says enter the full disk path name of the storage device with the size of 80 GB but no existing partition. That's going to be dev-b. dev/SDB, right? This guy right here, dev/SDB. Why? Because it does have 80 gigs. They both do. However, SDB does not have any partitions. All right, cool. That means SDB is not broken up into anything. So we're probably going to use SDB moving forward. All right, cool. Now we're going to use fdisk. fdisk/dev SDB, right? We're going to start creating partitions on this. We're just going to use the commands that's being provided here to us. First thing we're going to hit the M is just for help. Right, that's going to display the help menu if you want to learn more about this tool. P, this is going to print out the current partitions. Right, it's going to print out the current partitions, which we have none. There's nothing to print out. This is just information. Right, but no partition to print out. We're going to use V to just double check that there are no partitions, and it's saying, hey, there are no errors detected. You don't have any partitions. Cool. Now we're going to use the letter N as in November to create a new partition. And we want this partition to be primary, so we're going to select P. And then we're going to select 1 to give it a number. All right, it's going to be 1. Right, and over here we're going to give it 2048 for the first sector. Don't worry about that right now. And then we're just going to select enter, right, to accept whatever response they give us. We can hit P again. Now we can see the partition when we hit P. Now we get the partition. The first time we didn't get the partition when we selected P. And we can see what the number we assigned it. We gave it number 1. This partition is going to be on SDB, but it is number 1. All right, cool. Into the full path name of the new partition. That's going to be /dev/SDB1. Go ahead and get your points. Score that. Now we're going to hit W to write the partition and save our changes. Now we're going to make that partition, we're going to turn it into we're going to format it with FAT32. We're going to format that partition with FAT32, right? We are going to format this partition. The file system we want this to be formatted with is FAT32. Okay, it's just a certain type of file system. A file system is it's simply a way we organize files on your file system, right? FAT32, NTFS, they organize files differently on the file system. NTFS is probably more more used or more preferred because we can govern access and permissions to the files and folders on the system. Alright, cool. Now we're going to go ahead and make this directory. We're going to make a directory. Alright, we have made a directory and a mount point. It's called cell storage. Now what we're going to do is mount this new partition we created to cell storage. That means cell storage is going to use this new partition we created. Alright, cell storage is going to use the new partition we created. Yeah, and I just wanted to see this real quick. Yeah, we can see everything right there. Alright, cool. Next, we are going to mount well, we just did that. We're going to list what's inside of that mount file or that mount point. Let's go ahead and see what's inside of that. Right now, there's nothing in there. So we're going to copy something in there, right? We're going to copy this. Copy. Make sure I'm not missing any arguments. All right, it's recursive. So we're going to copy -r user share sec list. And we want everything under sec list to go to cell storage. And that's going to take a bit because there are a lot of word lists under this location. We're copying all the dictionary word lists from sec list to this mount point. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and list out the contents of that directory. Go ahead and do that. We're going to do ls-l mount cell storage, and we can see everything in there. Alright, so what did we do? We created our own partition, right? We created our partition, we called it dev sdb1. We used the fdisk utility to do that, right? And then we formatted it with FAT32, right? That means it's a format that is going to organize how the files are stored on this system or on that partition. Alright, and we copied over some stuff over there. Now we're going to learn how to delete these things properly. Alright, we have stuff to delete now. Now let's learn how to delete these things properly. Let's learn what happens when you delete something. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and remove. We're going to remove a folder from here. Alright, we're going to remove a folder from the cell storage. We're going to remove this miscellaneous folder. Alright, this one right here. So let's go ahead and remove that. And confirm that it's removed. Right, it is gone. Go ahead and get your points. Now we're going to recover it. Right, the way we're going to recover it is with this test disk utility. A lot of people think when you delete something on Linux, it's just gone. It's not really gone. We're just going to use test disk utility. I just typed this in. We're going to use this to recover it or to undelete what just happened. Alright, so we're going to hit enter for proceed, right? We're highlighted on proceed. We're going to hit enter. We're going to select none, right? Hit enter again. Alright, now we are going to, let me make sure I don't want to miss anything. Yep, so we're going to hit enter again on FAT32. And, hold on, I think we missed something. Let's see, let me make sure. So right here, okay, right here we're going to go to undelete. Right here, we're going to just use our left and right keys. We're going to use the right arrow to go to undelete. We want to undelete something from this partition right here. Right, we want to undelete something from this partition. We use the test disk utility on this partition because there's something we want to undelete. So let's select undelete, hit enter, and we're going to come down to miscellaneous. Right, we're going to come down to miscellaneous and then hit the colon, right? Shift colon. It's going to change miscellaneous from red to green. After that is done, I want you to do shift letter C for capital C. Alright, sweet. We've done everything up to step 11. Now we can see a listing of everything under our root directory. We're just gonna hit enter. Whoops, I wanted to go, I gotta go back. We want to hit enter on downloads folder. So I need to go back. How would I go? Let's hit that. All right, so I'm back here. To go back, I just hit Q. And I'm gonna hit Control C again. Now I'm gonna go to downloads. We're selecting where we wanna recover this data to. So I'm going to select downloads, hit enter. Okay, and then we're going to hit capital C again. That's shift C. All right, now it was successful. The miscellaneous folder was successfully copied over there. All right, so we're just going to hit Control C to exit out of this. And we can go ahead and ls-l our downloads folder. And you can see, I'm just going to do ls downloads. You can see miscellaneous there. And then you can see all these files from miscellaneous is stored here as well. All right. Go ahead and score that, get your points. We just undeleted a file. That's to let you know, hey, when a file is deleted, it's not actually gone. You can undelete it, right? You can undelete it. There's a proper way to delete, to securely erase your data. We're gonna learn that, right? But if you accidentally delete something, you know how to undelete it. Let's say in the workforce or one of your companies or organizations, you accidentally delete something sensitive. Well, you can undelete it using that utility we just learned about, right? The test disk utility. Now, how do you securely delete a file so it's completely gone? Okay, we're gonna go back to our mount storage. Right, ls-l, make sure it's still there. Everything is still here. Okay, you can do ls-ir. This is gonna make everything look sloppy. Okay, it's gonna be on the passwords file. Still gonna be a little bit sloppy because it's recursive. You can see all the passwords files that are here. Cool, what we're gonna do is cat open. I'm gonna clear my screen. What we're gonna do is cat open a specific password file called bt4-password.txt. All right, a lot of stuff here, right? A lot of stuff here. So what we're gonna do is use this command to securely delete all files within that password directory. Everything we just looked at just now, right? All the files within this passwords directory, we're gonna use a command to delete everything, right? Everything here, we're gonna use a command to delete everything. So first, the first part of that command is gonna find. We're using the find command to find the files in this directory. We just want the files, F for files. We want to find all the files in this directory. And what we want to do with those files is shred it. Okay, zeroization. We want to shred it, zeroization. Right, we want to securely delete, securely wipe all those files. So what we're going to do is exec shred -uvz, open curly brace, close curly brace. That's going to be by the brackets, right? The brackets. You hit shift on the brackets to get the curly brace. Space, slash, semicolon. So this is going to try and securely delete all of those files. All right, securely delete all of those files until they are all gone. So what it's really doing, securely deleting means we're overwriting where those files live, the location where those files live. We're overwriting it with other junk, with other information. That's how you securely delete data. Yeah, it has to be, you have to overwrite it. All right, so if we try to open up the contents in that directory again, all the files are deleted. The directories are there, but all the files are deleted because that's what we were looking for, were the password files. There is nothing in here, right? That this IR switch would list everything under these directories. There's nothing there. So now we're going to remove those empty directories. Right, remove -R. Remove all the directories on the passwords. If we list it out again, there's nothing there. Right, there is nothing there. Now we're going to go to test this to try to reverse something. Right, we're going to try to undelete something. Right, we're going to hit enter. Once we get in there, we're going to hit enter again. And we're going to go over to the right and select undelete. All right. See, the passwords were undeleted. Miscellaneous. Probably not there. So let's mark our progress. All right, we're going to come down to passwords. We're going to select enter. All right, these are all the contents within that directory that we had deleted. All right, now we're going to hit the left key to go back. We're going to go back to passwords. Right? Press enter. We're going to hit shift : okay, shift : and then we're going to hit, well, let's go down to Bible Pass. We're going to hit shift : on Bible Pass. And then we're going to hit shift C. Okay, shift C. Where do we want to restore this to? Let's try to restore it at the downloads folder. We're going to select enter on the downloads folder. Then we're going to hit shift C again. All right, now let's go back. Let's exit out of here. We're going to go to downloads. Well, I'll just list out the downloads. And we can see Bible Pass was restored. Right? That's the one thing that I chose to restore. Looks like we were supposed to restore bt4password.txt. Okay, let's go back and restore bt4password.txt. So we're going to hit the up arrow to go back into this test this utility. Boom. All right, we're gonna hit enter, enter, move over to the right for undelete, come down to passwords, and then we are going to hit enter, and right here we're gonna hit shift colon, and then we're gonna hit shift C. And then we're going to come down to downloads, shift C. Oh, I didn't highlight anything, huh? Let's make sure we're doing this right. Listen to content routes home folder be displayed. Yeah, we have to get this password file. Where's that guy at? Well, it probably doesn't even matter. Yeah, I'm gonna quit out of this, because it really won't matter. I'm gonna quit out of this, because look, if I go to downloads, and I open up the passwords, and I try to open up the Bible Pass, and then I try to open up one of those files under there, doesn't matter which one, we're not gonna get anything, right? So it doesn't matter which one of those files we restore. Even if we restore this, we're not gonna get anything, right? We're not going to get anything. So I'm gonna hit the score button. We might fail on this score though. Okay, we're good. All right, we're good. Because it doesn't matter which one we download. We securely deleted it, right? That even when we try to go and undelete it with test disk, which we just tried to do, we won't be able to see the contents in that file anymore because we overwrote it, right? It was overwritten. And that's how you securely delete something. All right, cool. So what have we done so far? We tried to, well, first we deleted this password directory. We deleted the password directly securely. We did it the right way. We used a tool, we used this shred tool to securely delete that file. It cannot be recovered after it's securely deleted, right? And we tried to recover it. We tried to recover it with the test disk utility, but we couldn't, right? Not successfully. We could get the file name, we can get the file directory and the folder and the structure, but the content inside of that file, we were not able to retrieve. Next section. Format a drive to destroy data. We gotta unmount the cell storage. So mount cell storage. We're gonna unmount that. I've already done it, so it's gonna say not mounted. Next, we're gonna format that partition. We're gonna reformat that partition we created. Reformatting a partition can destroy the data on it. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna use makfs-t fat dev sdb1. We are reformatting this partition. All right, make sure you score. Come down here into the test disk. We're going back into test disk. Back in here, we're gonna hit enter, enter, move over to undelete. It says no files found. File system may be damaged. Why? Because we have reformatted it. Reformatting your partitions, your USB drives, your disk can delete data. All right, sweet. We're gonna exit out of this and move on to the next section. All right, now another technique to sanitize your drives. We're gonna go ahead and remount this stuff. We gotta put the data back where it was, so let's go ahead and mount dev SDB1. I'm just gonna use that shortcut. Then we're gonna copy all this back over. We're doing the same commands we did earlier, so just hit the right key to auto complete. Oh, it's running. I forgot. It takes a while. Alright, so once that is done, we are going to use this sanitization tool called DD. Right, this is a pretty cool tool that we can use to get the same job done. Right, this is going to take a little bit, maybe 2 minutes, but it's going to try and wipe our system. Right, so let's go ahead and do it. So DD if equals dev 0, OF equals dev SDB, BS equals 1M, and I believe status equals progress. Let me double check. Yes, we're gonna hit enter. And this is going to keep working until it gets up to 80 gigabytes. All right, so what this is doing, this is going to go ahead and wipe all the data off of our drive. Right, it's going to wipe all the data off of our drive using a tool called DD. All right, so give this a second to run. Let's make sure we've marked our progress. We did all of this. This is where we are right now. Right, and all we're doing is overwriting this drive, right? This drive that we created. We are overwriting the drive. We're overwriting it. In other words, we're sanitizing the data that is on it. We just put this data on it. We're sanitizing it. All right, once that is done, we'll just wait. You can see that the memory usage is let's say 84%. All right, that's because the DD tool is going to work. And it is almost done. All right, cool, we're done. Let's go ahead, next step, fdisk. /dev/SDB. Okay, we're gonna hit P. We're using the fdisk tool, hit P. Oh, let's get out of this. I'm gonna open up a new terminal. Gonna do it here, fdisk/dev SDB. Cool, this is cleaner, it's more organized. We're gonna hit P. Same thing we did earlier, there are no partitions right now. Hit V just to make sure there are no partitions. Why are there no partitions? Because we just wiped it. Right, we just wiped everything off of that drive. All right, let's go back to, let's close out of that. Exit with Q. Now I'm gonna go and use test disk again. /dev/SDB. All right, hit enter. We're gonna select enter on the Intel partition. So select enter. We're gonna select analyze. All right. There are no partitions on this device. Remember, we created partitions on it, but because of what we just did in this section with the DD tool, everything has been wiped. Why? Because we overwrote the data. I don't even know if that's a word, overwrote. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and score that. We're going to just cancel out of this and go over to the question. Before we go into this question, what do we do here, y'all? We learn how to securely wipe data, right? It's important to learn how to securely wipe data because you're going to have sensitive information on your systems. Let's say you have a laptop, you want to sell the laptop to somebody. It's best that you know how to securely wipe that data before you sell the laptop, right? Here's some tools that we learned today. There are also some Windows tools that you can use to securely wipe data. You just download it from a trusted vendor, trusted application. Microsoft provides some, but it is crucial to understand that concept. It's pretty simple to do, right? But it's definitely crucial to understand the concept, understand the fundamentals of it. So hopefully this lab helped reinforce that information. Now, question: what is the primary means by which data can be sanitized, overwritten, overwriting? When files are no longer visible in the directory listing, the data is not recoverable. That is not true. That's false, right? That is false. What does deletion do to a file? Removes this data from storage, label as cluster or blocks as available for reuse. This is what deletion does to a file. When you delete a file, where it was located, your system just knows that that location is available to be used again. And until that location is used again, until that location has been overwritten, you can still recover that data. Which of the following are common forms of sanitization, zeroization, moving the file to other directories, storing fragments consistently, writing in random data, making the clusters or blocks as bad? I want to say these two. There we go. Which is the term used to reference material on the storage device that might be recoverable? What is the term used the material on the storage? Remanence. Remanence. Alright, and that is it, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed this lab. Please don't forget to smash that like button.